Eintracht Frankfurt from Germany have never lost a football game in Spain, and though they were taken to the brink by Scotland's Rangers, they prevailed in a penalty shootout, spotless from 12 yards. They were dead-eye accurate, and the German team go on to lift the Europa League for the first time in their history. When the Europa League was known as the UEFA Cup, they lifted it as well. And yeah, they have 2 European trophies in a cabinet that doesn't have much after 123 years, but they'll say to you that this trophy this season marks a stepping stone. The future, they'll tell you, looks bright from here. Let's take highlights of that final, the Europa League final in Seville.
What an occasion, what a noise. 2 of the teams with the biggest travelling support have made it to the final of the 2022 UEFA Europa League. Now Kamada. Taken wide by Lundstrom and still getting through. Forced the save out of McGregor. So, the recovery by Alan McGregor to get back into position then. Lundstrom scored a late goal in the win over Leipzig. Second leg of the semi-final. Nauf. And still he's allowed to go on. It's a terrific stop. Rangers weren't expecting that. Now right. Aribo. Kostic with a free kick. Oh, the delivery is good. What can Eintracht produce here? Helped away by Tavernier. And that struck Kamada just ahead of McGregor. Kamada may well have been offside then as the ball was drilled in.
Yeah, it's a decent strike, clean strike from Lindstrom, his own player.
And that's a wayward clearance. Lundstrom and Goldston, the 2 on the end of the line. Helped away by Ndika. And the break is on for Eintracht. Turning defence into attack very quickly. Kostic. Goldston the first to make his move. Lundstrom. Turned over the top. And he's still hobbling, which is a worry for Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Tavernier. At his best when he's got the opportunity to get forward. Oh, it's come to Aribo. And drilled just wide by Ryan Kent. Goldston getting above the body. Aribo, clean through on goal. And putting Rangers in front.
Comes out of pretty much nothing. It's So with the back header. That catches Tutor out, who then stumbles. But Aribo doesn't panic. And he just simply passes the ball into the back of the net. And when chances like this arrive so quickly, sometimes you can get flustered. You make the wrong decision. Not Joe Aribo. He has a little look, sees where the keeper is, and makes just the right choice.
Japanese international, now age 38. Is he going to be the headline maker? Nauf. So nearly an instant response. And Eintracht are claiming, Lindstrom's claiming, that a hand was used there by Bassi.
It's not on the arm, that's what the referee thinks. And this is the angle he's looking at. It seemed to be kind of hit him in the stomach more than anything else.
Almost running through the proverbial brick wall. Oh, Roda. Kamada! Been standing in recent weeks for Lindstrom. And Eintracht are level. A mix-up in the 6-yard area, and Rafael Borre has profited.
From this position, they've got defensive numbers. Borre is initially marked, but what he does so well is he gets in between the 2 centre-halves. No surprise it's Kostic. What a supply line he is. It's in behind those centre-halves.
slip by Bassi. And Boré is in. Boré bearing down on McGregor. Ryan Kent. Shot was deflected, but it was comfortably gathered by Trapp. Nauf taking on Barisic. It's a delightful ball into one which Hogar couldn't take advantage of.
It was just slightly too heavy. It's purpose down the right-hand side now for his fitness levels extraordinary.
Roof in behind a Sabing. And it's come right the way through. That's a magnificent save by Trapp. Oh, what a save. What a save that was to keep out Ryan Kent.
Of course, this would be with Roof creating. There's a little touch on the ball in. It just takes it away from Trapp. But how quickly Trapp moves his feet, gets across his goal. If he stands his ground, it's a tap-in for Kent. If you notice here, he moves his feet. He can't get the ball, but he gets across quickly. It's a big barrier.
A couple of good saves in extra time by Kevin Trapp. Rangers in front. Lens obliges. Ramsey kept out by Trapp. The Colombian with a chance to win it. If he tucks this penalty away, and he does. The Europa League trophy is on its way to Germany in the hands of Eintracht Frankfurt. And perhaps how fitting that the striker who got their equalising goal in the game should then secure the win.
Yeah, not since the 1979-80 season in the old UEFA Cup have Eintracht Frankfurt won European club competition, and they've done so at the expense of Rangers from Scotland. Simon Evans is with us. He is burning the candle at both ends, so let's get his comments first and then free him to take care of other business. Simon, the Scots fought valiantly. In the end, they were undone. Penalties.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about penalties as a lottery. That's the cliche that people use, and it really isn't a lottery. It's not about luck. It's about technique, preparation, mental strength. It's a lot of factors in there. And Eintracht Frankfurt's penalties were each individual one, all 5 of them, absolutely perfect. Rangers produced 4 good penalties and 1 pretty weak effort from Aaron Ramsey, who obviously you feel very sorry for. But it was a soft penalty, and that's what's cost them. Could have won it, though, in the final minutes of extra time there with that effort from Ryan Kent. Absolutely brilliant save from Trapp, wasn't it, there? And you wouldn't have said that Rangers didn't deserve to win it if they'd have grabbed that then. But very little between the two teams, and it came down to better execution in the shootout.
Yeah, and if you're Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, you're probably lamenting the fact that what injuries robbed you of heading into the game. That wasn't the case with the Eintracht Frankfurt team, because you look at all the firepower that you didn't have at your disposal. Ramsey clearly wasn't fit because he came on only to take a penalty. Kemar Roof clearly wasn't fit because he came on only to take a penalty. Morelos wasn't fit enough to even be in the matchday squad. And in those 3 players, Simon, existed the firepower with which you could damage Eintracht Frankfurt in regulation time. And Van Bronckhorst must at least be congratulated for taking the game and pushing his team as far as he did.
Absolutely. Those 3 players you mentioned there have exactly the qualities that Rangers really lacked. You know, the one thing that was missing, they were solid at the back, they worked hard in midfield, and they were willing runners up front, but they lacked that little bit of extra quality that a Morales or a Ramsey or a Roof might have given them. So, you know, I think Rangers can be extraordinarily proud, though, when they look back on this season. The Scottish League is not a league that gets a lot of credit internationally, and it's not one of the strongest leagues. And to come out of that league and beat the teams that they've beat 2 Bundesliga teams, and then take another one all the way to penalties in the final is a tremendous achievement for them.
Final one for you, Simon. Of course, the champions, Eintracht Frankfurt, they've emulated Chelsea and Villarreal in terms of teams who've gone unbeaten over the course of a championship Europa League campaign. When they dismantled a Barcelona team that were flying at the time, people were, what, are they for real? And then they went to London and they beat West Ham and held them off over the two legs. And then people started sitting up and taking notice. It has been the best team in the Europa League, without a doubt, this season, Eintracht Frankfurt.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair comment. They are a team as well. That's the key word, I think. You know, there's not a huge amount of stars in that team, individuals who you would look at and say, ooh, I'd like to see him play for Manchester United or Liverpool, whoever. You know, I think Kostic is a player who's caught a lot of people's eyes, particularly in that Barcelona game. But they're a team, very well organised, great coach behind them, excellent goalkeeper, as we were saying at the start of the game when we were discussing that. So thoroughly deserved to be overall over the season champions. And I've got to say about the Europa League as well, in England especially, but other countries as well, it's not quite taken as seriously as I think it should be. And I think this season the knockout stage has been brilliant, and it deserves at least as much respect as the old UEFA Cup used to get.
Absolutely so. Thank you for your time, Simon. We got a run from you.
All right, cheers, all the best.
Good. Lance, Eric, it was a game. Well, Lance, we have a highly accomplished coach here. He would appreciate the game from a perspective that most fans wouldn't.
Yes.
Eric, it was tactically intriguing, especially the first half. That people would say, well, it wasn't exciting, but that's because tactically the teams were set up to nullify each other.
Yeah, when you look at a game and you look at it from a coach perspective, it's different than a fan. So I can imagine that maybe some person weren't as excited about the final as myself or other coaches. But it was a battle in a lot of different ways when it comes to the tactical side. But I do think at moments we saw some exciting football, but a lot of times it started by personal mistakes. We saw individual mistakes, and that now led to a chance or a creation of something. And that's not the best football that you may see, but you have it often in the final.
Yeah, there were some nerves there. You know, some analysts spoke of players looking nervous on the big stage, which is always a fear that coaches will have when they put players on the field on an occasion like this.
But it's difficult to recognize which players will have that.
Yes.
We were just talking about Kamada, who played very good matches, and even against the bigger teams that they played before, and you think that is a player that I can rely on.
Yes.
But he did not have a good game. You even look at somebody like
his penalty was good, though.
His penalty was good,
Brilliant.
but you know that I think he could have decided the game during the game, and it's those players you kind of look at, and when they don't show up, it's difficult to deal with that.
It's a good point you're making, because the promo that I had done for the Europa League, I did a promo that featured Kamada as the man.
And that's the point.
As the man for the final.
He was outstanding against Barcelona, very good against West Ham. He was a no-show today. So it goes back to the point. Eric, Lance and myself were laughing at the withdrawal of Tuta, the Brazilian centre-half for Eintracht Frankfurt, who slipped chasing back for the Rangers' goal. And we were saying, well, the coach took him off immediately after the error. That's a big call. What is it that goes through? Is it that the coach would have just on the strength of the error alone? And what was the coach trying to rectify by removing someone from the team who had caused the team to concede?
My guess would be there was already a change in the making.
Oh.
To have that last minute come on right away is a little bit suspicious.
Especially for a central defender.
Yeah.
Because you always hear that a central defender is not a goal to change.
I don't think he played that bad of a game. You know, of course, the mistake was there, which adds to his overall performance that was not good. But even looking at a centre back came on for him does make me doubt a little bit. He didn't change much in the tactics. Maybe it was something where he said, well, once he gets in a mistake like that, he might be stuck in that moment. Let me take him off.
But here's the thing as well, and we spoke about it in the preview of the game. Remember, we were saying Eintracht Frankfurt, their attacks are built through their centre-half Hinteregger, who was injured for this game, pulled his hamstring chasing Michail Antonio in the semi-final win against West Ham at home. And with him out, the two centre-halves that they started today had different two of the three had different characteristics. So maybe it is that the tutor was withdrawn to bring someone with different characteristics so they could perhaps create from the base of their defense as they would do when they were at full strength. Maybe that was the reasoning behind the change.
Could very well be. I mean, I also want to go back to the goal, because we often look at the player that made the obvious mistake. But when we look at the goal...
Let's get at the goal, Mr. Producer,
if we can. Watch it back.
Yeah, the Rangers
goal. Yeah, it starts with the keeper kicking it up the field. Yeah. And those are moments as a defender you want to start realize, what is my role? You build up low from the ground, you go out wide. As we see it here, I don't know if maybe we can even pause it.
Yeah, we can.
So here we see the left centre back. When he recognizes the keeper is going long, he has to tuck in and come inside. That way you have a man mark on the strike and you have coverage. As you see, the right centre back has somebody he has to account for. So the left centre back has to come in. And it's not this first header that launches the attack. It's actually a back header there. And now we see if there was coverage behind it, somebody could have stepped in. It's hard to imagine that a defender slips. But yeah, this is a crucial moment where you were hoping you have a defender then who can help for that once in a million moment where you actually trip yourself. From this angle you can see Guti trips himself over here. He kind of hits the ground and his foot.
It looks really clumsy. But
yeah, it's
unfortunate.
A clumsy moment at a clumsy time.
But Eric, just so that the viewers and the youngsters who watch us, and a lot of them do, I just want to go back to the original frame, Mr. Producer, when the ball was launched by the goalkeeper and what Eric meant by the left centre-back tucking in, because we want to identify who he's talking about. So if we could get that frame again, we'd be grateful, because I just wanted to make sure that our viewers are with us in terms of the spacing and the responsibilities when the keeper. So the left centre-back, Eric, would be the man in the white on the far side of the screen, on the left side.
Yeah.
He is to come inside so that he can cover if any mishap happens. You're saying that the right centre-back is already picking up the striker, picking him up right there.
Correct.
Good. So if you stop right there. So if he had come infield, if he had come to his right to offer protection, when the back header came, he could have been in a position to intercept the ball.
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
Because usually what would happen, you have Rangers in this case, they would have a right winger that he needs to account for.
Yes.
And that's why he kind of needs to stay out wide.
Yes.
But there is no right winger.
Absolutely.
The extra player is offside, so we can take him out of the game.
Himself.
So he should ask himself, how can I be valuable in this play? And that should be more to the middle, in case he needs coverage there, which he needed. Yep,
and he didn't do that. If we may get the Eintracht Frankfurt goal now, Mr. Producer, all sorts of things happening here, Coach, and we're happy that you're here to explain to us. Well, Tavernier, the right back, was the ball beat him. He couldn't intercept. But the centre halves got themselves into a model almost as if one man left the ball for the other, and then the striker stole in between them and scored. And I'm saying that a goal like this in a final is very disappointing to concede.
Yeah, when you talk about the centre-back, I do want to look a little bit before when the cross comes in. We get here, I believe it was Scott that is marking Kostic, and he allows the ball, not fully, I think in the next angle you see better from close-up right here. He has to mark that space so the cross cannot come in. Now here we see the next centre-back, and I think he was lacking his awareness, because any centre-back in a final in a game like this, you clear that.
Yeah.
There's no relying on my other centre-back to see if he can clear it or the keeper picks it up.
Came to you first.
That will go out, yeah.
Came to you first, yeah.
I think it was a lack of awareness. He looks at the ball, he thinks there's no danger behind me, and I don't want to give away a corner or a throw in there, but that's what he should have done, and that is poor when you reach this level.
Yeah, then they turn around and look at each other like, why didn't you call me? No, but why didn't I call you? And all of that. So all in all, a game decided on penalties. I said to Simon, I suggested to Simon's Lance, Eric, that I thought that the best team in the whole competition actually won it, and I'm happy for that. Do I get any disagreement on this?
No, I agree.
I would think not. Domestically, they've been ordinary, finishing mid-table in the Bundesliga, and I don't think they've won a game domestically in their last 8 outings. So domestically, they haven't been good, but in Europe, they've been almost flawless. They've taken down some top teams, and they've gone all the way.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, because usually you see when a team decides to focus on one particular competition, that they fall off and they have trouble gaining that or keeping that momentum in particular competition. But as you say, Frankfurt has, I think, out the last 13 matches, they only won 3, and all 3 of them were in the Europa League. So they kept losing or drawing, and every time they would come back to the Europa League, they were able to still turn on a different switch. all the way up until the final. This might not have been their best performance, but I think it was also visible that Frankfurt was the better team in this match.
And as a coach, I give you a word on their coach, their Austrian coach, Oliver Glasner. The decisions he made today, his tactical approach to start the game, and the way he managed his team throughout and kept motivating them from the sidelines.
Yeah, I think it was a good game. I was a little surprised that Lindstrom started because I thought he was out injured. He did not play the full game. But I think also that is a decision as a coach, where we see with Rangers, are we playing Roof, are we playing Ramsey?
Yeah.
Well, at Frankfurt, he decided to start Lindstrom. I thought especially in the beginning of the second half, he was a live wire that created something, that wanted to create something. So, yeah, he made good decisions there.
Yeah. All right, so the match is done. It is decided, the competition. Eintracht Frankfurt, the team that has won, beating Rangers from Scotland. And it was what, 5-4 on penalties, Lance?
Yes,
5-4.
Yeah.
Yes, 5-4
sets the stage for the big one 2 Saturdays from now.
Yeah. The what?
The big one.
Yes,
League.
between Liverpool and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Not the Force Madrid, the Real Madrid. And my producer's asking, what about Roma in the Conference League final? And
that's for the Jose Mourinho fans.
Yeah, that's for the Mourinho fans.
Yeah, that's for the Mourinho fans.
And one last thing, Eintracht. It's good to see a club with this history winning a competition like this. It does well, and to see other teams stepping up, and they'll go right into the group stage of the Champions League. And I'm very, very happy for that they'll get their crack at the big boys and see if they can continue their giant killing ways next season. That's all the time we have, Eric. Thank you very much for passing through. Yeah, and we'll talk again. We break. We come back with more on the SportsMax zone.